Yes, there is a guarantee. I've guaranteed on the radio that we will play BC Lions here next week.
Was that the 1970s type of football that you were asking for, that you wanted from your team?
It was. Those guys played tough. I saw them run around hard. They played fast, and they played with an aggressive mindset. So I was pretty pleased with that.
Corey, there seems to be a bigger smile on your face today. Is there more satisfaction with that one than maybe some of the other ones?
Well, it's tough. When I look at it, I had most of my career in the CFL in Calgary, so beating Calgary to me was a plus for a lot of different reasons. Craig Dickinson finally beat his brother. We know how hard that was, but that's a team that stole some things from us early in the year. So it was a team that I thought that we had to beat.
How about the play of Darian Durant?
You know what? I told somebody, I said, that's one of the best games I've seen Darian have in a while. Like I said, during the week, he was crisp with everything that he threw, and I thought he was just crisp with his assignments, and he knew when to throw the ball away and all those good things. So I thought he had a good game.
What about it? Some people said he can't be a pocket passer. I think he proved that he could handle people.
Yeah, he could be both. But Darren was gifted with the skill to throw and to run. So why just use one? When his time comes, I know he'll be just a pocket passer, but he was wise enough to make the good decisions today.
To protect him as you did, with him hurting a little bit, I thought the offensive line and the blockers really had a big role to play, didn't they?
You know what? That was some of the best protection I'd seen all year from that group, and I don't know what Darian told him or what he promised him, but he better do it again because they really blocked for him. He had some time there, and they did some real good things.
The run stuffer, what impact does Joe Lobendon give your defense?
Joe is one of the guys that if you were in a dark alley and you saw Joe, you better run. I mean, he's tough. Joe is a tough-minded individual. You can see in his eyes every day that all he wants to do is win. He was pissed because there's one where Cornish ran through the gap and he missed him, and I could see in his eyes he was pissed. He's a team leader. He went out as a captain today, and I thought that was something good to have him go out.
How about Jay Elford? He had all the game.
Jay did. He did. He's one of those things where we've been waiting on Jay. He's been doing some good things, but, he showed up today. He really showed up, and he turned it on. I think those guys, did a heck of a job up front.
Why was the defense able to overcome the injuries to Russ and shoulders and the
Well, the biggest thing I can tell you, is I think even Mick went down. The guys, they played tough. The one thing that Odell said, he was like, put it on us. He said, hey, we'll suck it up. It's just four of us or whatever. But the guys played hard. We also, we were able to move Milt Collins in, to play. And, I think it's just the versatility of the guys that we brought in, that they could play more than one spot, even when the game's on the line. So, that's a kudos up to the management.
Do you need the guarantee to catch their attention on defense a little bit in this play? Because it seemed to me they were ready right from the word go. But not that they aren't always ready, but...
like I said, when I thought about the guarantee, it was more so just because I think it was, whichever reporter talked about John Cornish running wild. And I was like, not on this defense, because it was more so a guarantee to back the defense. If anything else, it wasn't so much as a challenge to him. It was a guarantee that this defense would be ready to go, and that defense was ready to go.
Was there ever a doubt that you'd have to follow through on what you said during that guarantee if someone loses their job?
No, I was ready to follow through on it. That's something that I don't want to follow through on. But I am a man of my word, and that's something that I did not want to do. And I think the guys, pretty much know who I am and how I deal with things. But for the most part, that's something that you never want to do. But guys showed up and they did their jobs.
Taj Smith dropped a couple in the end zone. He got a big one in the end zone. How important was that touchdown for him for his confidence?
I don't know about his confidence, because I tore a piece off of his confidence when he dropped those first two. Because telling me he better get it together, because Taj is a very good player, and Taj ended up catching the big one, and I'm pleased that he did. But Taj needs to catch all of them because he's that type of receiver.
Corey, you had the 2 games this year where you lost the big leads. Today, Calgary's coming down after you had a big lead. Is this sort of a sign of the maturation process that your team has?
I think it is. It was a point in time to where I told the defense, I said, don't let this be like the last game that we played them over there. I said, this game's going to come down to defense. And the one thing, like I said, what Odell and those guys told me, they said, Coach, put it on our back. Put it on our back. And I said, all right. They said, hey, call 4-man rush. We'll get to the quarterback. Richie called it, and they got there.
How about the play of Weston Dressler? You can almost guarantee that's going to be performance. Did he have one of his better games of the season?
Well, I think it was one of those to where when 4 and 7 hooks up, sometimes it is what it is, and it was pretty much like lightning. Those guys, they hooked up and they had a good day, and it's one of those things to where I think probably day 2 and day 3 I saw that in practice, and I didn't say anything. I was like, boy, I see a lot of hooking up between 4 and 7, and I think it just carried over into the game.
How much credit does Bob Dice deserve
He's the OC. I didn't call any plays. So, no, Dice did a heck of a job. Not just Dice, he did a good job calling play call, but when you look at the offensive staff, I thought the offensive staff did a good job of coming up with a plan and getting some things done.
How's Keith Scholligan?
I don't know exactly. We had a couple of guys go down, and I couldn't tell you about any of them right now to this point. I just know that they didn't finish the game.
Is Tristan Jackson out of the doghouse, or he was sort of?
He's not. Hey, it's one of those things to where the next guy up. And he came in and he did some positive things, and good for him. Because he's waited his turn, and we'll see how the roster shapes up as the next week goes.
Did you cringe when he gave up that single?
A little bit. I did. I did. And I was like, but you had to look at field position also. I hate giving up points in any manner, and it was one of those things that, we have to do. I'll tell you this, I will tell you the guys on the 3rd and 2, the guys were saying, Coach, let's go for it. I was like, oh, no. We had the lead. So, as long as we had the lead, I was good to go.
About 6-6 at this point of the season, Corey.
6-6. That's pretty good. That's better than a losing record. So 6-6 is pretty good. Like I said, we've had some games that could have been wins here or there, but I'm not a guy to live in the past. I think that's we got an opportunity to still make a decision where we want to go with this football team. 6-6 is that's not our ultimate goal, but the biggest thing is we won our last game against the Calgary Stampeders, and we'll get settled after there and move on to the BC Lions.
Odell Willis roughing the passer late in the game, then he comes back with the sack. Did he redeem himself with that sack?
Oh, yeah. Let me rephrase that. I don't know about redeem, because if it had ended another type way, Odell and I would have had words. But, like I told Odell, be smart, get to the quarterback. And I didn't see it. I just saw him get there. But, at the same time, that's a tough position to play because you're running full speed and all of a sudden somebody lets that ball go and you have to stop on the dime. That's real tough. And, I commend those guys for playing to the fullest and trying to pull off and then coming back to the next play and not playing with fear and getting a sack.
Lobendon, Collins, Barry, Alfred all had important days today. All guys brought in mid-season, although Alfred was cut after training camp. Was that you leaning on Brendan Taman and Jeremy O'Day to bring those guys in, or was that their work?
Well, I said we worked all together. We work all together. I will tell you that tirelessly. And Craig is in that also, Craig Smith. We talk about names, and, just for the most part, you want to look at guys that you're always familiar with and what can they do. Whether it's Jay, we knew what Jay could do. Milt, he's been in the grind with me for a long time, and just a couple other guys. Did you say Joe?
Yeah.
You added Joe. He's a guy that's been with Brendan. So, we just looked at a position, said who's the best guy that we can find, and, it was one of those that I may have had a guy, he had a guy, J.O. and Craig said some things, but we got the right group in here.
Corey, did you think Jock Sanders had held on to the ball then?
On that first one?
The second the one the Calgary challenge.
I'm trying to remember. You guys remember all those plays. You know how many plays I have in my head? I can't remember. I just remember there was one.
The Calgary challenge.
Before your touchdown, they challenged that it was a fumble.
And did they get it?
No.
Oh, well then I couldn't tell you. I had to go back and look at it. There was one or two that the guys did tell me that it was loose, but the only one I remember is when we're headed toward the north end zone, the one that Jock fumbled. I wasn't sure if that was a fumble, if that was the one you're talking about, and so we still overcame some things, but I'm proud of this team.